Some of y'all might remember when Rosie O'Donnell was on The View and she mocked Donald Trump. Let me take you down memory lane. I want to take you down memory lane, y'all.
Ever. And so he held a press conference to announce whether or not she was going to retain her crown. Yes. And then she started to cry. So I just want to thank Donald is giving me a second chance. And there he is, hair looping, going, everyone deserves a second chance. And I'm going to give her a second chance.
All right. Y'all remember that, right? Now, you might say, why am I showing a video clip mocking Donald Trump? Well, y'all, an article just came out. Our first broke president decided to weigh in on reparations. So let's see what he has to say. We know he doesn't say anything that's worth remembering. He doesn't say anything notable. He doesn't say anything profound. In fact, he shouldn't say anything at all. So let's get into this. This came out on USA Today. Trump says slavery reparations debate is interesting, but doesn't see it happening. Well, let's hear what old President Bone Spurs had to say here, y'all. Our first broke president speaks. Trump said on an interview on Monday that he thinks this man can think. This man thinks the concept of the federal government giving reparations to the descendants of slaves is unusual and interesting, but he doesn't see it happening. Well, I can follow Trump on this, just like I don't see him being a billionaire ever happening. Let's move on. Let's see what else President Empty Pockets have to say. I think it's a very unusual thing, Trump told The Hill when asked about the idea of trying to rectify the enduring effects of slavery's legacy. It's been a very interesting debate. I don't see it happening. No. On June 19th, the House Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution, Civil Rights, and Civil Liberties held a hearing to discuss legislation introduced by Rep. Sheila Jackson Lee, who is not ADOS. She is from two Jamaican parents, calling for the creation of a commission to study the lasting effects of slavery's legacy and what could be done to address it. And then we have flip-flopper Cory Booker of New Jersey, who is running for president, has introduced a similar bill. Like, who needs two HR 40s, everybody? No goddamn body. To create a commission to study the impacts of slavery and continuing discrimination against African Americans and make recommendations on reparations proposals for the descendants of slaves. So Cory is doing a bunch of nothing. We as a nation have not yet truly acknowledged and grappled with racism and white supremacy that has tainted this country's founding and continues to persist in those deep racial disparities and inequalities today. Oh, Cory, oh, Cory, oh, Cory. Bunch of BS. Never trust a person that comes out and say initially they did not support reparations and then turn around and say he supported. Oh, look who's behind him, y'all. Look who's behind Cory's old big microphone head. Senator Mitch McConnell, he came out, he brought his head out from under the turtle shell to say reparations for some time that happened 150 years ago. Get back under the turtle shell, okay? We've tried to deal with our original sin, slavery, by fighting a civil war. Well, guess what? Black men fought in the Civil War too, on both sides. So you can't claim all of the accolades, Civil War junkies. You just can't. By passing landmark civil rights legislation, and we've elected an African American president, McConnell told reporters. And well, if we can't ask for nothing because we had an African American president, then white people should really not be able to ask for anything because we done had a kabillion white presidents. Y'all need to just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and stop whining and do for self. You claim you do for self, but when we go back in the histories, you got an awful lot of goodies unearned. Booker's legislation currently has 14 co-sponsors with 6 other presidential candidates among them. So, of course, he's going to have supporters, ladies and gentlemen, because they don't have to shell out a dime for what Cory Booker is presenting. It's another freebie at our expense. Lee's bill has been co-sponsored by 3 Democratic presidential candidates. And we don't care about that. They're talking about HR 40. Again, as long as they're not shelling out money, everybody's down with it. Other Democratic presidential candidates who have expressed support for a study or for reparations include former Texas Rep. Beto O'Rourke, who is trying to tell us that white people really don't understand the history about slavery, which is the most laughable thing he could say. Former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper and former House and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro. Author Marianne Williamson has made the most ambitious proposal of the 2020 Democrats. Out of all of them, she did. She's calling for $200 to $500 billion to pay in reparations over 20 years, which is, we know that's way too low for the amount of Black people in this country. Former President Joe Biden, who maintains a wide lead in most Democratic primary polls, has not said what his current position on reparation is, but in 1975, he said, "I'll be damned if I feel responsible to pay what happened 300 years ago," according to an interview published in the Washington Post. Fuck you, Joe Biden. Okay, y'all. So Trump decided to weigh in with his empty ass pockets and say absolutely nothing about reparations. Trump, instead of worrying about us getting reparations, why don't you go commit some more crimes in your taxes and cheat on your wife and lie before the American people? Stick with the things you know. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family. Here's a few Donald Trump quotes. "I'm not a schmuck, even if the world is going